Hello and welcome to a very exciting video. I've been really excited to film and share this with you guys. In January, I'm going to be doing a little challenge with myself called Jumpstart January, and I wanted to invite anyone else who wanted to join me. Jumpstart January is a month that I'm going to use to get ahead on my goals. So as you'll have seen, and if you haven't, you should go watch that video, my reading goals for 2025, I have set up a little kind of game for myself throughout the year, trying to meet these different goals and earn points to get some prizes for myself at the end of the year. Jumpstart January is all about getting a head start on as many of those goals as possible. I have made a little bingo board, which I will scoot over so I can put here. And I'm going to try to get as many bingos as possible. Every time I get a bingo, I will get to add a point to my score for every bingo that I get. So the different squares are going to match all the different goals that I have set for myself in 2025. So in the top left-hand corner, we have fantasy series. So one of my goals for 2025 is to read one of the long fantasy series that I have on my shelves. And I have chosen to start with The Crown of Stars by Kate Elliott. This is a 7-book series. I have all 7 books, and they're pretty chunky. This is the first book. It's called King's Dragon. And this is by Kate Elliott. A couple years ago, or a year ago, I read like the prologue and the first chapter and was really into it. So I have high hopes that this is going to be a series I really enjoy. And with it being a 7-book series and they're all this long or longer, I really need to get like a jump start on it. Hence Jumpstart January. So this is the first book that I plan to read. Then in the middle on the top row is detective series. I want to read some different detective series and try to find some that I love. So the first one that I want to start with is a little fantasy detective series. This is Soulless by Gail Carriger. This is the first book in the Parasol Protectorate series, and I've heard really good things about this. It's kind of fun and humorous with a good romance side plot, and it's kind of like this paranormal London mystery. And again, I've read like the first few pages, really like the writing style, and I think this one is going to be a slam dunk for me. Now on the left, on the top, we have classics. And since I'm already reading a chunky fantasy, I wanted to give myself a kind of easy out for classic. So I'm going to be reading one of the Anne of Green Gables books. This is Anne of Ingleside. This is number 6 in the Anne series. And I have really enjoyed reading further on. I had read Anne of Green Gables when I was younger. I'd seen the show, but I never read all the books. So this is my first time reading through the series. And I just have a few left. I think I have through 8, so 6, 7, 8, and then I have a book of short stories. So I'm excited to be making some progress in this. This will also help with one of the later goals. On the second row on the right, we have the authors I own but I haven't tried before. So this means authors that I own multiple books of that I haven't tried before. I want to try those authors because if I don't like them, I can get rid of multiple books possibly. Or if I do like them, I have more of them on my shelves that I can be really excited about. So for this month, I'm going to be reading The Barbed Coil by J.B. Jones. This is a portal fantasy about, I think, a woman who gets transported into a fantasy realm. And I love portal fantasy. Chronicles of Narnia, I ate that up when I was a little kid. Like the idea of just suddenly getting sucked into like a magical world is just always so fun. So I don't know a lot about the actual plot other than that it is a portal fantasy, and J.B. Jones is an author I own at least 5 books by, including this one. This is a standalone, so I thought this would be a great place to try her out and see if I really enjoy her work, because then I can jump right into some other ones I own. The middle one is kind of like a freebie if I hold myself to not buying any books in January. If I can hold off on buying books, I'm going to get to cross off that middle square, which would be awesome for getting some more points. In the middle on the left side, I have read some fantasy mass market paperbacks. I have a lot of fantasy mass market paperbacks, a lot of them older and either standalones or starts to series, and I have a lot of them and had a lot of them for quite a long time, and I'd like to give some of them a try. If I read either of these two books, I can count them for that because I allow doubling up on my goals for the year, so I'm going to allow it in here. So if I read either of these, that could work for a fantasy mass market paperback. And then on the bottom row, I have a couple options because my goal for series is to finish a series that I started before 2025. So I could read Anne of Ingleside. That would count towards working on finishing out a series. Or I could finish out a series with reading What Feasts at Night by T. Kingfisher. This is the sequel to What Moves the Dead. That is a very short novella that's kind of spooky and read super quickly, and I think this one will be just as fun. It follows one of the main characters from that book, and I think I've heard good things about this one. So this could be an option as well if I want something quick and spooky to read. Then the bottom middle prompt is to work on getting one more shelf complete according to my Taming the Shelves standard. If you don't know what Taming the Shelves is, I'll leave a link up in the cards above and you can go watch that. It's basically a series where I'm working on taming my shelves a little bit and paring down my collection so that things fit better on the shelves. So for this first iteration, I'm working on getting these books that are stacked on top of other books to fit onto the shelves so that even though the shelves are double stacked with 2 rows of books, there won't be any books stacking on top. So if I can get one shelf fixed by the end of January, then that will count for that one. And then the final one is not something that I need to necessarily pick a book for. It just means read 75% books I own compared to how many books I get from the library. This is a goal that I have just to focus on reading the books I have because I tend to be that person that goes to the library, brings home the books, and then because those have a deadline, I focus on those for months and months and don't get to the books on my shelves. So I want to do that. So those are my plans for Jumpstart January. And if you want to try, I'm actually going to have on my Instagram a template, a blank template if you want to join in where you can fill in your own bingo board and you can try to meet your own goals in January and see how many bingos you can get throughout the month. I'm really excited for January. I think it's going to be such a fun month and I hope that you'll join me and we can get a jump start on all our goals. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.